And welcome, people of the World Wide Web. Welcome to the latest episode from Cypher Sigma. So, what do I have for you today? As you can probably tell, it's a review of Avatar 2 The Way of the Water. Insert poster there and there. So this is a film I went to see last night, so it's still fresh in my mind. I've had over the evening time to mull over my views and opinions of it, and then this will be a review. Please be aware, spoilers. I will try my best to keep to the end of the video and give you a warning, so if you're watching this video, you can at least watch the first section of it without hopefully being ruined. But yes, so before I get you, you can see the smiley face. I liked it, so that's a good sign. But yeah, so first I'll go over my review for the first film. It's very small. I more or less rated it a 7. Like, it was a very good film, and I kind of class it in two bits: visually and story. Story was okay. Visual wise, 13 years ago, absolutely stunning. Rewatched it recently, and I've seen it a few times over the years, and it is absolutely amazing, specifically for the time it was released. You know, there wasn't anything really out there, and there is a reason why it is the most made the most money of any film ever. James Cameron did a good idea. So I'll add a tiny little bit in before we move into my expectations. So my expectations of I wasn't in the camp. It was like, oh my god, it's a new Avatar, this is amazing. I was kind of where I was exactly the same in The Matrix. The first one was a really good film. I really liked it. I didn't think it really needed anything, but I'll go and watch it to see what happens. A few bonus points in there, obviously, because we knew it was The Way of the Water, so we knew it was water themed. Obviously, to me, you go on the two parts: story and visual. Now, visuals have changed a lot in the 13 years since the first film, but they're not going to be as groundbreaking as they was unless, and this I had in the back of my mind, James Cameron are brilliant with water. He's done documentaries, I think, and even like Titanic and stuff. He loves the water, and he's playing to strengths. I think this was something in his head, like we're going to bring water into this. We need to make this amazing. So he, that's how he's going to up the graphic side of it, to compete with the 13-year difference, where we're a bit more used to some of the special effects or big scene of special effects and stuff. Story, I felt he needed to up his game. I say, if you go back and watch the first one, I say the story's all right. I say as moments, but I don't think it's groundbreaking. The visual effects for me for the first one were the amazing and the draw for it. But so let's get on with the review. So obviously this takes Pandora multiple years in the future. I think it's about like 16, 15. And an interesting fact for any of you guys at home. So in the first film, when they travel to Pandora, it takes them 5 years, 9 months, and so many days. Obviously, the period that Sully, so Sam Worthington's character, was there, I think was several months and stuff. So in real life, it actually does almost set up that since the first film, they've had technically enough time to travel all the way back to Earth, sort themselves out, and then come all the way back to Pandora, and everybody's kind of aged appropriately. Give it probably a few years for them to sort themselves out. But yeah, so moving into the review. So obviously, The Way of Water. So we obviously have the family, and the stuff happens. The Earth people have come back, or Earthlings, or whatever it's Sky people. I think that's what they refer to. They've come back to Pandora, and like anything with the human race, we want to screw it up. We want to nick their materials, and obviously they give a reason why they are back, and they're not after that little rock, and they want shitloads of money. There's actually other reasons for this, which was good, plausible. Definitely for me. So obviously you have Jake Sully and his wife Overdana and Neytiri. I've got the names written down because apologies if they're ruined. But obviously they've come on, and now they have some kids that you'll see, 4 to be precise. And this then goes forward as a little bit more of a family role. You kind of move away very early on from the original characters. So Norm, I quite liked him. So Joel, David, something wrong. He's from Bones and stuff like that. He the scientist guy. He features a little bit in this, and to be honest, I really liked his character. I was hoping there was a bit more, but I see the reason why. you get to see how the human race then transgresses to another year. Obviously, no real big spoilers. It happens really quite early on, and then it is all of the confrontations. Now, how James Cameron brought people back, I thought was very interesting. Again, plausible, did make sense, and to be honest, he kept it very familiar with a lot of the characters we know, while slightly phasing out, as I say, like characters like Norman up, but then bringing in the kids, bringing the next generation. You also have that they go from the Sky Tribe to the Water Tribe. And to be honest, maybe I'm so used to the Avatar pictures, you don't notice stuff. Like, all the way through, I never realised that most normal avatars only have 3 fingers and like thumbs. Didn't realise that, must have missed that in the first one. The same way when you meet the mer people or the sea avatar people, that their hands are, their forearms are very thicker and not quite webbed hands, but obviously that's for the swimming, and their tails are very differently. Little things like this are done really well, and this is, you know, I probably cannot praise James Cameron enough. I know he gets a lot of slack for a lot of stuff he says and does, and you know, maybe people are cocky and didn't think there needs to be an Avatar film. I was more or less in that camp. But I have loved stuff he's done outside of that, like Alita, Battle Angel, brilliant film based on an anime. I would always advise to watch that, and I hope they do get to do a second one. But anyway, I digress and sidestep. So we go back to Avatar. So this, I kind of reference him to Star Wars and George Lucas. That his mindset, he obviously had the story in mind. He has pitched a story to a set of directors / writers, and they have written all of the, or will be writing, have written of the next 4 films that will be there. They've all not known what one until the last day of writing, and so they've all got an overall picture of it, and they've all taken a lot of stuff on. Now, I think this is a brilliant mindset from James Cameron. He hopes he'll be there for all of it, from what I've seen in interviews. But stuff like Star Wars and stuff, this is where you have this person doing this person this, and they don't get an overall picture, and stuff gets lost. And James Cameron just did amazing for this. Like, even the visual effects, the water stuff is absolutely stunning. Like, you watch stuff, and I'll use TV series, I know there's no comparison, but there are some really dodgy CG stuff going on. Like, even on some films, like I watch with my wife, and a person can walk in and I can go, that's a background, they're not actually there. And there was a series on Netflix which showed recently, and it is where a woman was playing her twin, Michelle Monaghan, and I can't remember the name of it. If you can, please put it in the comments down below. And literally, the two of them work well. Same way with Tom Hardy's Legend. You know, you can barely tell it's them until they have this fight over this waterfall at the end, and it is god awful on the background, and I'm like, why did you do it that way? You know, why, you know, take some time. But Avatar, it is seamless. Like, I know a lot of it is CG characters and there's not real many humans in it, but there are humans in it, and you can't tell. You believe they are in this world. And this world that he builds upon, there are a lot of more like robot suit mechanic subs, like subs that are crabs that are really, really good, you know, fits in. He has these little spider bots that are building the city for the humans. And it just kind of takes on that technology meets nature, which is kind of the whole synopsis or the whole underline of this, I think it is, you know, because that's where we are. And even the creatures, whereas they go from the flying ones, you meet like the underwater type, and they are just so good, you know, like they have certain elements that match in, so they all similar kind of link up, but it is all done, you know, really, really well. And obviously what you've seen in some things, it is the Tolkien, so they are the space whales. Payakan, I think his name is. Loved him. Anybody thought a space whale with 4 eyes you couldn't fall in love with, or couldn't be so passionate about him, was absolutely amazing. You know, he was one of the shining lights in this, which is taking account when you have a character that doesn't really speak. But again, you're kind of reflecting on the animal creature side of the nature side, which is kind of the focus of the Na'vi, of the people of Pandora. So, obviously I've tried to keep it as vague as you want. And I say the special effects in James Cameron did brilliant. So now we're going to move into spoiler territory. So we're at 10 minutes. So if you wanted to go see it, I would definitely recommend it. But I'm going to talk about a lot of stuff that happens in the film. So turn off if you don't. Hopefully you will join us. So as we go, so taking this very quick synopsis, obviously, like they have the kids. The kids are a vocal part of it. It's Sigourney Weaver does brilliantly as the daughter, and saying that obviously she's connected. Where they come with the epilepsy bit, I'm not quite sure if there's more to come, but they obviously are world building it. When you meet Spider as well, when it's obviously the bad guy's son and he starts to get a bit of humanity, I kind of very early on I was like, oh, you know, you see a bit of science. He's not going to love his son because it's not his son, because it's a kind of a genetic recreation of the human bit, but he does warm to each other, and I think that maybe we are going to see him becoming a bit more of a good character as time goes on, and obviously because of the Spider relationship, you know, the father-son relationship, which is kind of the big family thing out of this. The film, you know, the fight scene at the end is amazing. I so wanted that whale to just land on that the bloke with the big spear gun. His name was Scoresby, but again, he gets his comeuppance, and I don't know if you notice kind of the irony in there that obviously this is a whale, that the humans attacked him and killed all of his clan, and he's the only one left, and he loses a fin. Role reversal now, he manages to wipe out most of their lot, and Scoresby loses an arm as he spins off into the water. A kind of irony there, but I thought very good, you know, kind of, it's kind of his way to redeem himself, even though you probably go like, why can't he be redeemed, because it's not his fault that everyone was attacked and he was the only survivor. But unfortunately that is obviously the way of their planet. Kate Winslet and Curtis, who played the parents of them, I thought their acting was quite good. To be honest, I didn't feel we saw as much as we could have done of them. It was more focused on the kids, but I feel this is the way maybe James Cameron's taking this, that he's building more on the kids side of it. And yes, major spoiler alert, obviously the eldest son dies. Kind of had to happen, I think, to progress. The youngest son and kind of the eldest daughter, they seem to be the main focal point, you know, have one that communicates with, or they're both very communicating with the creatures of Pandora themselves in their own special ways, especially because Kiri, I think her name is Weaver's character, she's very in tune with the central life, so there's obviously going to be something she will grow up. And there are little bits like that, like I quite liked her style of a character, and I found out that obviously Sigourney Weaver was very insistent that she not have a refined look to herself. But yeah, and then obviously leaves a lot open that obviously now the Na'vi are obviously going to go for the human race. The human race, unfortunately, we killed the planet like we do with everything, and we come into this planet to kill everything, and obviously they do it in a triumphant way where they blow up half the forest and kill like every animal within a mile radius. It's like, and they're after those whales just for that one bit of like brain fluid, and they don't worry about the rest of the animal. And I think Cameron, it has his, even though this is sci-fi, so to speak, but he's still touching with, you know, our connection with nature as humans and stuff, and maybe we should be a bit more connected and care about our world. We wouldn't be in a state we are, even nowadays, like we use our natural resources and stuff, but again, getting off a little bit of subject, but it's nice little notes are put in there, so maybe it makes people think more about animals and stuff. But yeah, how you know, I just can't sing enough praises of it, so I could probably waffle on, but I'm not going to. So yeah, so as I have my review, we probably need to give it a score, so I'm going to give it an 8 out of 10. Now, I don't give this scoring lightly as the standalone film, because it's not a standalone film. This is kind of the first floor that build on the foundation of Avatar 1. So yes, it probably could have been less, because I did rate the first one 7 out of 10. I do think, as I had my visual effects, absolutely stunning. I say how he blends the water in, you know, and you're watching probably 2 hours worth of water scenes that are live capturing people in tanks and stuff, and I can't tell you which section is somebody in mocap in water, and some that is probably digital where the creatures are all swimming under. It all blends into one. It's done seamlessly. You know, James Cameron just hits that spot on. You know, the designs of like the city and technology, and that like humans haven't really evolved too much from what we've seen from the first film, except for like the tanks, and they go more animal. You know, like the spiders are fixing the city, and like the crabs, which, you know, that was good at the fight scene. It was quite slow but still worked quite well, and like the little submarines. All the way leading up to the big ship, and that's the thing of it, is kind of, you felt like it was coming to a climactic end, and Cameron did, like, he took this big like whaling boat, so to speak, out, and that's what they fought, and then it was a big epic battle, and some people were caught and stuff, but that's only one little boat compared to this massive city that probably has loads of other resources. So he's done it really, really well, but Ken kind of left a lot of there to build on in future films. And I think if that is his mindset, so far he's doing brilliantly. I don't know how quick building the next films, because I think he wanted to do it back to back. But yeah, from what I've heard, what I've seen on Wikipedia, obviously it costs 500 million to make this film, and it's more or less made that already. That doesn't include probably advertisement and stuff. But I think this is going to do really, really well, and I actually quite look forward now till 3. And hopefully, if the same care of detail and that is done, then it's going to be probably really, really good, and probably up there again. But we shall see. But yeah, don't want to go into too. But I'm sure I've missed a lot of it. As I say, like the special effects, the glowing of the lovely thing, little. I don't know, if you're like me and you like to find the little details. There's loads of little stuff in there that is amazing. And as a toy collector, hopefully I'll get some of the figures now I've seen what's out there. But yeah, so 8 out of 10, that's my review. And now I have the hard choice. The next video coming in at the end of the week is my top 5 films, and now I've rated this so well, I have to decide if that's in there or not. But anyway, this is Cypher Sigma signing out. Have a good day.